Okay, I want to show you how to do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch for your Pastepaper sketchbook. I have already folded my Pastepaper so that I have my pockets and I've folded over the edges. What you want to do is get your cover and you are going to put your pages inside so that the spine where the fold is matches up with the spine or the fold of your Pastepaper cover. I already have holes punched in mine, but I'm going to show you how that's done. One thing you want to do is make sure your papers are nice and centered on your sketchbook so that you have a little border all the way around. Okay, when you do that, you can fold it back up. And I'm using a few bulldog clips to hold my pages so they don't slide around, because once my holes are punched, I don't want to have to reline them up. So I've got them there so they're not sliding. Then I'm going to take an egg carton and I'm going to use my awl to poke holes. So an awl is just a tool for bookmaking that has a sharp point that pokes the holes. So I'll take your sketchbook and I'll put the spine here and I'm going to end up poking 5 holes into the spine. Okay. Once you have the holes poked, you are ready to have a needle and a piece of embroidery thread. You can pick your color of thread, whatever one you want to use, and you need 2 lengths of your spine for the embroidery thread. So I'm going to measure 1 and 2, and then I gave myself a little extra just for good measure. Then you're going to thread your needle, twist the end, or if you need to wet it, that's fine too, to get it through the eye of the needle. If you feel like you need to make a little knot, you could always tie a little knot to hold your needle on so the thread will not slide out of there. Easier said than done. So when you are in the middle of a stitch, you don't want to have your needle fall through, your thread fall out. Okay, so I'm going to open up my book. So we are doing the pamphlet stitch, and I'm going to show you on this video, but I also have this handout that gives step-by-step instructions. On this diagram, I've numbered the holes in my sketchbook. If you need to write the numbers next to these holes, that might help you. Some people are visual, some people have a better time when they're actually doing the reading of instructions. So we're going to start in the center, right here, the 3rd hole. And I'm actually going to try to cradle my sketchbook in my hand like this so that it holds it steady. And I'm going to take my needle and put it through hole number 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to pull through from the back so that I have a little tail left. In bookmaking terms, the tail is what they call it. And this helps us have something to tie it onto. Okay, so now I have my tail. I'm going to take my needle up to the next hole. This is hole number 2. And I'm going to stick it through the back of hole number 2. Now you can kind of wiggle it around, and I actually have my finger on the inside. I could feel when it comes through, but if you'd rather not put your finger there, you can do it by feel from looking on the inside. Alright, now I'm going to pull this through. I'm going to hold on to my tail, and I want to pull my thread through really tight, but don't let go. Then I'm going to take it up to hole number 1, stick it through, and I'm going to pull tight. I'm going to keep an eye on that tail to make sure it's not going anywhere, and pull tight. Now, from the top hole, number 1, I'm going to go back to number 2. Pull through, pull tight. Still holding on to my tail. At this point, it should be pretty good, but just to be sure. Then I'm going to go from hole 2 all the way to 4, so skipping over that middle. Poke through number 4. If you don't tie a knot around your needle with the thread, I would hold your needle right there at the base around the eye so that doesn't get lost. So I've still got my tail nice and tight. Then I'm going to go down to the last hole, number 5, and push that through. And pull tight. And it's kind of like just connecting your dots. So next I'm going to go up to hole number 4 again, from the inside to the outside. Pull through, And now I got one more dot to connect. I'm going to go into the middle hole, number 3. So you are back to where you started. Now to tie off this knot for your sketchbook, I really recommend putting one side of the string on either side of that middle line. Okay, the reason is if this knot for some reason were to pull through, if this hole got too big or something ripped, you don't want your binding or your stitching to fall out. So I'm actually going to tie a knot around that middle thread. So and if you want to go ahead and cut it, you're welcome to. That makes it easier. So you want to do a double or a triple knot, nice and tight, like that. Always leave a little tail on the inside, because if this came undone, you could go back and tie another knot. So there you have your pamphlet stitch. And on the outside, it has this line that's all connected. If it were to come out, you can always watch this video again to fix it, or if you lose your needle, you could always rethread and start over if your tail falls through. After you have it stitched, I need the needle back to the jar, and then you can remove the bulldog clips, and you are good to go with your sketchbook. Make sure you get your title page finished with your name, class period, grade, and then you're good to go. Awesome. Happy binding.